Hello everybody, welcome to a video about sexual harassment in Morocco and in the United States. But before we begin delving into this very touchy subject, first I would like to talk about the HIVE program which we are in. The HIVE program stands for Harnessing Innovation through Virtual Exchange, and it is part of the Stevens Initiative, um, which tries to connect the Middle East with the US in order to have a cultural generality in both of our countries and for both participants to increase their cultural awareness for each other. So, for convenience sake, my group has over 8 participants. I will be the one that will discuss the topics and I will go through their comments, their content, and their feedback. And I'm only the one that is facilitating this speech here. So I apologize in advance for speaking a little bit quickly, but we have a lot of subjects to delve into. As part of the HIVE projects, we had 4 sessions with the CMU students discussing each other's culture and asking hard questions about each other's countries, which also helped us when we talked group by group via Skype. For our group, we decided to speak about sexual harassment in Morocco and the United States. Oxford Dictionary states that sexual harassment is characterized by the making of unwelcomed and inappropriate sexual remarks or physical advances in a workplace or other professional or social situations. In our Hive meetings, we discussed how many of our teammates in Morocco have witnessed or were harassed on the streets due to insecurity on Moroccan streets. That is why, for our parts, we're going to be discussing sexual harassment in the Moroccan streets, as it is one of the major issues concerning sexual harassment in Morocco. Not long ago in Akhawayn, we had a guest speaker discussing sexual harassment in Morocco. He gave some insight describing that Morocco, the public street is considered a masculine area, and in this area, the man is the leader and the woman is not. The women are not allowed into said streets. Any violation of this culturally generated rule results in men harassing women, as they believe that they are only in the streets to entice men and remove their power from their area. This rule can be traced back into the pre-modern age of Morocco, where women were only seen in their own homes, where the man is. The only way they could leave their home is with a man or a male guardian. Thus, till this day, a lot of men, when they see women on the streets, they believe that they should be with a man or a male guardian. If not, then they are there only to entice the man and remove their power, as I said before. From a personal anecdote, sexual harassment is widespread. One day, my friend was leaving Al Akhawayn campus and walking in the streets, and she described to me that she was getting harassed left and right by men. 2 or 3 men started to follow her, and she got really scared and started screaming and running, and she was really scared. Later that day, I went out with her outside of campus, and nobody sexually harassed her, and nobody even talked to her, which kind of proves the point where men in Morocco tend to believe that women without a male guardian or a male representative next to them is considered enticing or trying to remove their power from their streets. This problem is very systematic, and in the HIVE program, we tried to discuss some solutions. One solution that we have in Morocco was to implement a law where sexual harassers can get fined or even go to jail for their sexual harassment. Many women still believe, including our teammates, still believe that this is not enough. We also discussed how education can try to help this problem by preventing the newer generations from sexually harassing women by telling them that men and women in the streets are equal, and also telling them how we live in a modern age and there is nothing wrong with women walking the streets, as the street is a public area. Including education, we also discussed how the problem is very systematic and deep-rooted in our culture. We also talked about how cultural change might be a good thing or might be a bad thing, but in this case, we believe that it was a good thing to change the culture and how men view women in the streets. Moving on to the CMU perspective. They said that in CMU, they don't really have sexual harassment in the streets, as it is very rare compared to Morocco. But they did talk about a movement called the Me Too movement, which they said that sexual harassment is prevalent, and it is in the movie industries and music industries. And these prevalent celebrities stated their stories about sexual harassment and sexual abuse in their respective industries. This sparked outrage on many prominent figures who have participated in these acts. This movement had also had some success, and many people who were the abusers are now in prison or have their reputation disgraced, meaning they cannot hurt anyone else. The US Congress also changed their rules regarding sexual harassment in favor of the victims, and many more people are paying attention to these sorts of harassments to make sure it does not happen. The Carnegie Mellon University students also said that a couple of years ago there was a movement called against sexual harassment on campus due to the epidemic of rape culture, defined by the CMU students as being the act of sexual abuse towards women on campus committed by predatory men. Uh, they discussed that this issue is no longer around due to their efforts and efforts of universities nationwide in the United States. So I would like to thank the CMU students and the HIVE project for this incredible opportunity to connect our two cultures and discuss some real subjects and to take each other's stories, perspectives, and lives into perspective. And thank you very much.